She was sound asleep after a hard day at work. All of a sudden, she awakened by the sound of her door being kicked open. She could see the shadow of a figure coming down the hallway. She reached over to her nightstand and grabbed the loaded handgun she carried each day. She pointed it at the hallway beyond the open door. The shadowy figure came through the doorway, lunging towards her. She pulled the trigger. There was a loud bang, and the figure fell to the floor. It turned out this intruder had murdered once before in his life. Having a handgun can save your life at home, and having a CPL, which is a concealed pistol license, can save your life away from home. My name is Steve Yabs, and I am talking to you today about owning a handgun and having a CPL license so that you can carry that handgun in most places outside of your home legally. The world that we live in today is not getting any less violent, but rather it is becoming more and more violent on a daily basis. In the city of Detroit this year, as of October, there have been over 852 carjackings in the city itself. That is not counting the surrounding areas, the suburbs, of which there are somewhere in the vicinity of 40 suburbs around this large city that we live in and near. You know, we might not live within those city limits, but you know, I look at Detroit as being a shoot-'em-up cowboy town. But make no mistake, there is no invisible fence that separates the Detroit city, where there is a load of crime, from the rest of us. And that goes through the whole United States. There is no invisible wall that separates you or I from any type of a violent crime. If the criminal wants to attack, and he has made up his mind to do so, he will do it, regardless of who you are. Last year, in the United States, there were 1,203,564 violent crimes reported. And many other violent crimes occurred as well, but went unreported. What is that number? I really don't know. But over 1 million violent crimes in the United States gives the criminal an opportunity to attack you. What I'm saying is that it is not a remote possibility that you may one day be a victim of a violent crime. It is a good possibility, especially in some of the environments that we live in, such as, I should say, some of the cities that we live in and those environments. In Michigan, there are some of the most violent cities in the entire United States. Detroit. How many times has Detroit been at the top of the list for being the #1 murder capital of the United States? I don't know that exact number. Flint is known as one of the worst, most violent cities in the United States, along with other cities here too. There were 347 homicides in Detroit City alone last year. In the first 4 months of last year, 2012, there were 274 rapes. That's for the first 4 months. What was that number at the end of the year? I didn't look that up, but I guarantee you it was probably more than 500. I would say it was probably a little bit less than 1,000 or somewhere in that vicinity. You feel fear when you are alone and out and about. Maybe you're parking your car in a mall lot and you have to park near the back. Or maybe you're in a parking garage. Is someone waiting for you in the shadows? Can you protect yourself from this approaching harm? The answer is yes. You can protect yourself from the approaching harm. The solution to this issue of self-preservation is to be trained on how to properly use a handgun and begin to utilize your rights as an American citizen. Take the training that you need and obtain your CPL, Concealed Pistols License. Carrying a handgun can save your life. It can also save the lives of those who are near you or around you, your loved ones, maybe a stranger. There's a lot of personal satisfaction knowing that you are a responsible and a knowledgeable handgun owner once you have taken courses on this subject. Being a prior Marine of 8 years, I was in Special Ground Forces, and some of the specialties that I submitted myself to were weapons training. I was awarded expert medals on many occasions for my outstanding performance in the use of firearms. And I say that because I have a great respect for firearms, and I understand that they can harm you if you do not know how to properly use them. So I say that it is a great idea for all of us to take the training, get your CPL license, be a good citizen, be an upstanding citizen, and protect yourself, protect your neighbor. We need to take back the streets from those criminals in some of the areas that some of us live in today. We cannot do this on our own, but we can do it together if we follow the law and take up our arms in a responsible manner and protect those who we love, which are our family and our neighbors. I want you to try to picture this in your mind. You pull up to a stoplight. Your vehicle is being approached by a person who is coming up to you with a razor in their hand. You reach over between your seat into the console, and you raise your loaded Smith & Wesson 9mm, and you tap that on the window. What do you see next? You see a blur. You see a blur as a man runs at top speed to get out of your sights. You may not have, you may have not only saved your vehicle, but you may have saved your own life as well as those who are with you in the process. If the majority of us upright citizens within our communities were to arm themselves and be properly trained in the use of handguns, just think of how much safer our communities would be. What I want all of you good people to do today is to go check out your local firearms store and inquire as to what type of firearm self-defense courses they may offer. You will find there are experts which will lead you down the right path to a more safe and secure life within this crime-ridden world that we live. It's not going to get any better unless we do something about it. We need to unite as law-abiding citizens and take back these communities, as I said earlier, from the criminals which have ruined many a neighborhood. Protecting ourselves and our property is a good step in the right direction to obtaining a crime-free zone.